Hey everybody, I'm ZeldaMaster, and in this video I want to take a closer look at the new Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity reveal trailer. As in the trailer, there's actually a couple secrets that reveal to us new things we didn't know about from Breath of the Wild. And obviously the reason for that is because this game is canon to Breath of the Wild, with it being a prequel of the events that happened 100 years during the Great Calamity. And what's pretty crazy to think about is we know the outcome of this. I mean, the outcome is what leads to Breath of the Wild. So this is a game that we're going to play through knowing we're going to lose. Now, one thing that I have to say is this is something we've never seen in a Zelda game, but at the same time, it might make sense, as if you played Hyrule Warriors, the original one, you actually got to play on the enemy side. So maybe in this game, we're also going to be playing on Calamity Ganon's side and helping Ganon win. So even though it's going to be a very tragic and sad loss for the heroes, we're going to be playing on the villain side and feeling victorious in a way. Overall, I imagine this being very sad, very exciting, all over the place, because this is a game where pretty much all of the characters are going to get killed. Yes, we're going to be able to explore all of these characters in much more depth, something Breath of the Wild sort of failed on, because in Breath of the Wild, you only got to see the events of the Great Calamity through cutscenes, and they were only memory cutscenes that you found throughout the world. They weren't anything too special, but this is a game that you actually get to relive it from playing it, enduring it, seeing the cutscenes, seeing everything, and overall adding more to it. So yeah, I am beyond excited. I'm so glad Nintendo is giving us this prequel spin-off, and we're also getting a sequel to Breath of the Wild as well. So Breath of the Wild is becoming a trilogy. You know, 2 official games and 1 prequel spin-off, but either way, it's a trilogy of story, and that is like a dream come true. I am so excited. And it being a Hyrule Warriors spin-off really fits for a game all about war, because if you haven't played a Dynasty Warriors game, it's all about war essentially, so this gameplay will really fit it well. But okay, without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and take a closer look at the trailer and see these new secrets and things that Nintendo is going to add to this prequel to Breath of the Wild. So let's get started. Okay, right off at the beginning, I don't mean to pause at every frame, so don't worry, but it's nice to know that this game is rated T for teen, which, for those who don't know, Breath of the Wild was rated E 10 and up. So this game is following the previous Hyrule Warriors title, being rated T for teen, because outside of the mild fantasy violence we're getting, we might get some suggestive themes that Hyrule Warriors sure had a lot of, or maybe other things. I don't know, Koei Tecmo might put their little ways into this game, so I think it's interesting that it is rated T for teen. It also might be all the sad death that we're going to see throughout the game, so overall this rating does seem interesting, and a more mature Zelda game is definitely welcome in my eyes.
The history of the royal family of Hyrule is also the history of Calamity Ganon, a primal evil that has endured over the ages.
I think you are now ready. Ready to hear what happened 100 years ago.
So borrowing heavily from Breath of the Wild's trailers and overall setting, the game is giving us the history of Calamity Ganon. And you may notice that Impa's voice and the King of Hyrule's voice sound similar to how they did in the original Breath of the Wild.
The history of the royal family of Hyrule is also the history of Calamity Ganon.
I think you are now ready. Ready to hear what happened 100 years ago.
But their tone seems to be a bit different, so I guess we can confirm that this game will have voice acting, similar to how Breath of the Wild brought that into the series, and most likely the voice actors may be the same ones we know from the original titles. So that alone is pretty interesting, and I'd love to see these cutscenes given life with voice acting. I thought it was nice in Breath of the Wild, and I want that to continue. Alright, already from the first shot, we see a very familiar area, and that is of Link's first memory, where Zelda is essentially bestowing upon him the honor of becoming her appointed knight. And the one thing that doesn't look as familiar to this area is the fact that it's actually populated. Yeah, I mean, Hyrule in Breath of the Wild is so barren, yet so huge, and now we're seeing that huge area be utilized, as there are so many enemies around with soldiers and Link dressed up in his soldier outfit that you can get within Breath of the Wild, which I find really cool. Overall, the redesign, it being Breath of the Wild, fits so much better than the whole style they had with Hyrule Warriors. Don't get me wrong, I thought Hyrule Warriors Link design was interesting, but I'm really happy they're sticking true to Breath of the Wild's art style and just overall aesthetic. So yeah, looks good so far. A bit weird to see Hyrule have this many people in one location, but I'm excited to see every single area used as a battlefield from Breath of the Wild's Hyrule to be like this. Yeah, it just looks really good. And here we see something I guess we should have saw coming, and that is Link using a remote bomb. Obviously, the Sheikah tech is going to be of use throughout this game, though Link kind of discovers the Sheikah slate in Breath of the Wild, so him using it 100 years prior makes no sense unless they're going to make it seem like Link knew how to use the Sheikah slate before he lost his memory, and then in Breath of the Wild, along with rediscovering your memory, you're rediscovering how to even use the Sheikah slate. So either way, we're going to understand Link's story, how powerful he was before Breath of the Wild and before losing his memory. And I think that's very interesting to see, because again, this game is canon. Maybe this ability isn't canon, but I have a feeling Nintendo will have an explanation. So yeah, very interesting. And here is where things get very, very interesting, because here reveals a secret to us that wasn't in Breath of the Wild, and that is the pillars that surround Hyrule Castle. After Calamity Ganon takes over the castle and ruins it, you see 4 red pillars, and it almost seems like the Sheikah used those to kind of divide Hyrule Castle and keep Ganon sealed, but comes out that's probably not the case. As you can see here, from the circular designs on these pillars, in the center of each circle is a guardian, pretty much charging, and I guess the assumption here is that Calamity Ganon rose these pillars to summon the guardians in masses, as we can see what happens right after. And yes, that is of the guardians falling from the pillar, so this is essentially how Calamity Ganon got so many guardians to surround Hyrule Castle. They weren't in ruins or, you know, them trying to restore them or anything. They were ready, charging on pillars, and emerged from underneath Hyrule to then be deployed against Hyrule. So that is pretty scary and really cool. I mean, this is a secret that is going to be told to us through a spin-off. Now we know why the pillars exist in Breath of the Wild, and this reason is very interesting, how it was pretty much a charging dock for Guardians. So yeah, that is something else. Alright, and another exciting thing that kind of reveals something new to us as well, and that is this character that is standing next to Link and Zelda, showing respect to the King of Hyrule. And that character, if you couldn't tell by the hairdo, is a Sheikah. It actually looks a lot like Paya, but Paya wouldn't have been born 100 years ago. So it's most likely her grandmother, Impa. Yes, I have a strong feeling that this would be Impa. She was always the second hand to Zelda, protecting her. It was kind of like that in Hyrule Warriors, even the original one, so I'm sure they're going to continue that. It only makes sense that, you know, Impa to be right by her side throughout the, you know, battles and everything. But yeah, that's most likely going to be young Impa, of her probably much taller, I guess because she just gets shorter when she ages. I don't know if it's back problems or what, but if you compare Skyward Sword's young Impa and old Impa, yeah, you know, when she gets old, her body changes a lot, so this is most likely Impa. We don't really have to compare heights or anything because we know Impa's just going to end up looking different when she does get old. But yeah, I have a strong feeling this is Impa. I'm pretty sure it is, and I love how her design looks like Paya. She's going to have you know, the whole Breath of the Wild Sheikah aesthetic, which is going to be new to see Impa in. So next are these cannons. Now you may say, okay, what's so special about cannons? I mean, it's a great war. Why wouldn't Hyrule use it? Well, I can assure you that these cannons are the same cannons that were during the Great Akala battle. And in Akala, it gets completely destroyed by Calamity Ganon during the battle, and here we get to see it. You gotta remember that the Great Calamity wasn't just one and done. It wasn't something that happened super fast and went down. No, it was a bunch of events, and one of the events was Akala being teared down. So wow, like, these cannons, even though you don't get to see anything else, I can assure you they're atop of the tower or throughout Akala, and they're signifying that great battle that we're going to be able to relive. It's going to be sad because we're going to see Akala go down, but at the same time, I mean, the fact that we get to relive this battle, and it's not just a story that's in the Masterworks book, is so awesome. So yes, the Great Battle of Akala is gonna go down. And here is confirmed a Lionel as an enemy. That shouldn't be much of a surprise. The Lionel is pretty much the scariest enemy in Breath of the Wild when it comes to non-boss type enemies. So we can imagine the Lionels will be generals to all the lower life enemies. And yeah, it looks so badass. And especially seeing this battle in Zora's domain with the water, just being able to see every single city as a battlefield sounds so hype. And this Zora's domain Lionel looks extremely, extremely badass. And we can see Zelda battling the Lionel using stasis. So again, she is using the Sheikah runes, and I guess stasis is going to be one of them. And now we can see Mipha taking on one of these guardians. It actually looks like throughout Death Mountain's trail in Breath of the Wild. So yeah, we're going to be seeing a lot more environments as mentioned. But you can tell that the way Mipha is playing is very similar to how Ruta played in Hyrule Warriors, the original version. And that is because she is going to be the Zora character for this game. And I can imagine them sharing a very similar moveset, which obviously will fit Mipha because they are both Zora. And then here we can see Urbosa actually taking an attack from Breath of the Wild as she is using a Flurry Rush on a Yiga henchman, and I think that's really cool. I don't think Dynasty Warriors ever had that ability to where you can slow down time if you do a perfect dodge, but as you can see, the Flurry Rush from Breath of the Wild will now be a mechanic in this Hyrule Warriors style game, which sounds really cool. And obviously we're going to be seeing the battle that caused the Gerudo and Yiga to constantly fight, and just overall the problems that they've had for so long. So I think this is really cool, and we can see obviously that Urbosa is in Gerudo Town. I mean, Urbosa is probably gonna be my favorite character. She's my favorite champion, so I'm so excited I get to play as her. But yeah, she looks amazing. Her weapons look amazing, and I'm sure her moveset will be a very fast-paced moveset compared to like the other generals. And here we see Daruk in action using some rock-like abilities with lava on a Hinox, kind of similar to how Darunia in Hyrule Warriors, the original version, was the Goron that you played as that had very heavy attacks and used rock-like moves. So I have a feeling that his moveset will be very similar to that. And here we have Rivalia, which I have a feeling, as every champion has their own weapon, Rivalia will obviously be heavily based with range attacks using his bow and arrow and whatnot, and that also seems pretty fun. I don't think we had a Hyrule Warriors original character like that, so it will be exciting to see how Rivalia's playstyle ends up. And now this is where things get a bit sad, because we do know the outcome of this game. Here we have Link seems to be struggling on, the lightning here reminds me of Urbosa or Thunderblight or something beyond that, just by looking at the color of the lightning Link is about to reflect. So I don't think this is Link's final moments, but it does look like a very intense moment here. And now, while the previous clip didn't feel like Link's final moments, this here seems like Urbosa's final moment. As you can see, Urbosa seems very tired in the Divine Beast. So, yeah, I think they're already showing us that they're not gonna make it, and seeing a glimpse of their final battle is very sad to see, but I love how they actually put it in the trailer, because it's not just Urbosa, actually. As you can see, Mipha preparing for what may be her final battle as well. They're all gonna lose to each, you know, Blight Ganon. Unless they add like a different character that maybe helps, something that fits it. I have no clue if they're going to try to add to it and make their death seem like it was the help of something else. But this is probably Mipha's final moments, because if you couldn't tell by the background as well, it is showing the inside of a Divine Beast, and that's where they got trapped and died in. So yeah, sad to see. And again, the boy Daruk probably losing to Fire Blight Ganon, as this also looks like he's inside of the Divine Beast. And last but not least, Rivalia getting attacked here. And what again must be the final battle, as it's raining, he's up in the sky, which is where his Divine Beast is. And yeah, I have a feeling that it's pretty much showing us their last glimpses of what they had left in Hyrule and what they could do, and yeah, that is just crazy to see. We can then see the transition of what may be when the Guardians start going up against Link, as Link and Zelda are in front of the Guardians, so assuming that the Guardians are protecting them on their side, but then Link is startled seeing the Guardian shoot a laser beam, maybe directing it their way but missing, and realizing that, yeah, the Guardians are no longer on his side, and that they're going to have to watch their back and front if they want to take this on. At least I'm assuming that's what happens. But if you couldn't tell by just the coloring here, this seems like where Calamity Ganon pretty much started the Great War, and where things started to go downhill.
Protect everyone.
And that right there is, I want to say, what is going to give us hope to be able to put down the controller, because we see Zelda holding off Ganon, and I feel like that is going to be like the scene we get at the very, very end of the game, because if the game does end with Ganon overcoming everything and killing off the champions and Link being placed in stasis and all of the events leading up to Breath of the Wild before 100 years, then I feel like Nintendo has to give us some hope and be like, if you want to play Breath of the Wild, or if you want to, you know, fix the outcome of the story, then you gotta continue in Breath of the Wild. And I feel like that's gonna give us a whole new light to Breath of the Wild. It's gonna make me want to replay the game from the beginning and just, you know, look at it with this new lens of being able to have played what actually happened 100 years instead of just what we got through memories. So yeah, just the fact that this is a prequel sounds so intense, because Breath of the Wild had the darkest story in its prequel, essentially. So now we get to actually live it, and yeah. And the fact that it comes out, I mean, November 20th, it means it's just right around the corner. We're only 2 months away from this game, and Nintendo has revealed that there is a new update coming out for this game on the 26th of this month. So do expect, you know, further breakdown, trailer analysis, reactions, just videos talking about it, because we're going to be getting more info to this upcoming release. And yeah, I just have to say, if you are not a fan of Hyrule Warriors, Dynasty Warriors, hack and slash games in general, this game is still going to be important, because it is canon to the series. It is the story that we really needed to know from Breath of the Wild. The story that I was only able to piece together through little bits of dialogue, books, and the masterworks that the Champions Ballad, you know, released, or after the Champions Ballad, because the Champions Ballad didn't have much. It did have some cutscenes with Zelda interacting with the champions, but the fact that, yeah, we get a full-fledged game all about that, it's just too good to be true. But okay, I think I'm rambling. I'm just so excited. I am, like, you guys have no idea. Okay, I know I've been kind of slow with videos, but I think this is what I needed. I probably just been slow because Zelda news has been slow, and just getting this new Zelda news has got me so excited again, and just feeling that hype I would feel back when Breath of the Wild first came out. So yes, I am so excited, Nintendo. I cannot wait for what's to come. Also, I suggest people pre-ordering it, because you get an awesome, you know, pot shield and ladle, the same thing that you get in Breath of the Wild, essentially. 2 useless items as pre-order items, but hey, at least in this game, weapons won't break. There's no way. If they break, I wonder how that mechanic would work. I'd be so upset. I hope weapons don't break, because you're going to be killing thousands upon thousands of enemies, literally in the thousands. So, yeah. This game is, gonna be really exciting to revisit all of the certain weapons within Breath of the Wild, hopefully being unable to break, and outfits and everything. Just, you have to only imagine there's gonna be so much in store for this game, because Breath of the Wild had so much unexplored content, and now we get it in this spin-off. And on top of that, yeah, the amount of characters we're going to play as. Like, I'm sure outside of just the 4 champions, Link and Zelda, we're obviously going to get to play as Impa, probably the King of Hyrule, because we got to in the original game. Maybe even Blight versions of Ganon, maybe Yiga members. For sure enemies, because they had the enemy campaign in the original Hyrule Warriors, and I feel like we're going to get Calamity Ganon's enemy perspective and help him win, so we feel like some sort of victory towards the end of the game instead of it just being a loss. At least we caused the loss by helping the enemy win and playing on their side. So, yeah, I just have a feeling there's going to be a lot more characters, a lot more things. Really stay on the lookout for the 26th. Overall, just don't write things off when it comes to what can be revealed for this game, because we literally have no clue. Nintendo might even add, like, some weird gliding mechanic where you can, like, travel faster by gliding, because maybe the maps will be so big. I doubt it in a Hyrule Warriors game, but they did say they're going to try to add new mechanics to this game that Breath of the Wild kind of added to the series. So I'm excited to see what they could be, as long as it's not breaking weapons. So, yeah. That's all I care about. As long as that mechanic doesn't come from Breath of the Wild, I'm game for everything else. But okay. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Again, sorry if the end of this video was a bit rambly. I just kind of throwing out my thoughts, and overall I'm just really excited. But again, let me know what your thoughts are, what you guys are excited for this, and do expect other Zelda-related videos to come out in the near future, as well as the upcoming reveal with the next update this 26th. So stay on the lookout for that. Be sure to subscribe. Follow me on social media like Twitter and stuff like that if you want to stay up to date with anything. But overall, just stay on the lookout for new videos, as, yeah, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is gonna be all I'm gonna cover probably for the rest of this year. So I am excited, and I hope you guys are excited as well. So anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed. Anyways, I've been ZeldaMaster, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!